Hello, children. Today in English, we are going to learn a new lesson, lesson number 3 My Early Home. It is a story adapted from Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. It's an autobiography of a horse who describes his first home. He recalls the meadow in which he lived with his mother and drank her milk. As he got older, he was able to eat grass, and his mother went off during the day to work. So, he recalls the other colts who played with him. So, let's enjoy the story by a video, and it's a very interesting story about a horse. He describes his own life when he is very young. So, children, come on, be ready to enjoy this story by a video for you. So let's begin, children. Enjoy it.
Autobiography of a Horse. My Early Home. The first place that I can well remember was a large, pleasant meadow with a pond of clear water in it. Some shady trees leaned over it. Some rushes and water lilies grew at the deep end. Over the hedge, on one side, we looked into a plowed field. On the other side, we looked over a gate at our master's house, which stood by the roadside. Higher up, at the edge of the meadow, was a grove of fir trees, and at the bottom, a running brook overhung by a steep bank. While I was young, I lived upon my mother's milk, as I could not eat grass. In the daytime, I ran along her side, and at night I lay down close by her. When it was hot, we used to stand by the pond in the shade of the trees, and when it was cold, we had a nice warm shed near the grove. As soon as I was old enough to eat grass, my mother used to go out to work in the daytime and come back in the evening. Besides me, there were 6 young colts in the meadow, but they were older than I was. Some were nearly as large as grown-up horses. I used to run with them and had great fun. We would gallop all together, round and round the field, as hard as we could go. Sometimes we had rather rough play, for they would frequently bite and kick as well as gallop. One day, when there was a good deal of kicking, my mother noticed it and whinnied me to come to her. She said, "I wish you to pay attention to what I am going to say to you. The colts who live here are very good colts, but they are cart horse colts, and of course they have not learnt manners. You have been well bred and well born. Your father has a great name in these parts. Your grandfather won 2 trophies for 2 years at the Newmarket races. Your grandmother had the sweetest temper of any horse I knew. And I think you have never seen me kick or bite. I hope you will grow up gentle and good and never learn bad ways. Do your work with a good will, lift your feet up well when you trot, and never bite or kick even in play. I had never forgotten my mother's advice. I knew she was a wise old horse. Our master thought a great deal of her. Her name was Duchess, but he often called her Pet. Our master was a good, kind man. He gave us good food, good lodging, and kind words. In fact, he spoke as kindly to us as he did to his little children. We were all very fond of him, and my mother loved and respected him very much. Whenever she saw him arrive at the gate, she would neigh with joy and trot up to him. In return, he would pat and stroke her. "Well, old pet," he would say, "and how is your little darky?" I was a dull black, so he called me Darky. Master would often bring me a piece of bread, which was very good. Sometimes he brought a carrot for my mother. All the horses would come to him, but I think we were his favorites. My mother always took him to the town on a market day in a light gig. There was a ploughboy, Dick, who sometimes came into our field to pluck blackberries from the hedge. When he had eaten all he wanted, he would have what he called fun with the coals. He would throw stones and sticks at us to make us gallop. We did not much mind him, for we could gallop away. But often a stone would hit and hurt us. One day he was at his game, unaware that the master was watching him from the next field. Over the hedge, master jumped in a snap. He caught Dick by the arm and shook him up. Dick roared with the pain and surprise. As soon as we saw the master, we trotted up nearer to see what went on. "Bad boy," said master. "Bad boy, you chased the coals. You troubled them. This is not the first time, nor the second, but it shall be the last. Here, take your wages and go home. I shall not want you on my farm again." So we never saw Dick anymore. Old Daniel, the man who looked after the horses, was just as gentle as our master, so we were well off. Abridged from Black Beauty. Autobiography of a Horse by Anna Sewell.
Was it really an interesting one? Yes. So children, hope you all understood. Thank you.